Om Sri Sai Ram. Upanishad Vahini, Chapter 7. Prashna Vahini Upanishad. The Prashna Upanishad is as an appendix of the Atharvana Veda. It is so named because it is in the form of questions, prashnas, and answers. By this means, it discusses more elaborately some topics dealt with briefly in the Mandoka Upanishad. It has thus become a commentary on the Mundaka Upanishad. For example, the Mundaka says that knowledge, Vidya, is of two types: absolute, transcendent, and worldly, and that knowledge of the world related to Brahman is of two kinds: action and worship, karma and upasana. The second and third questions in Prashna Upanishad deal with worship. The discipline of action is fully covered in the sections on action, karma kanda, so it is not elaborated on here. When both activity and worship are practiced, regardless of the fruits thereof, they promote renunciation and non-attachment. This is the conclusion arrived at by the first question. So, studying the Prashna Upanishad after the Mundaka makes the subject clearer. Seekers meet the Guru with sincere heart offerings. Of the two entities, the eternal supreme transcendent Para Brahman and the worldly or qualified Apara Brahman, the worldly Brahman is incapable of conferring the goals of human life, Purusha Arthas, which are of lasting value. Realizing this and eager to attain the eternal supreme Brahman, aspirants approached Pippalada, the competent teacher. The word seeking Anveshana used here to signify the attitude of these disciples shows that these disciples, attached to the lower shelf, Apara Brahma, and unrelated to the supreme absolute over self, fail to identify their own basic truth as the Atma. That is why they still seek it somewhere outside the truth of their being. The eternal, unique, transcendent Brahmic principle can be known only through the discipline of the scriptures, shastras, directed personally by a teacher. Seekers have to approach the Guru as holding in the hand sincere heart offerings. That is to say, not simply holding the ritualistic fuel and the sacrificial fire. Further, worthy, desirable offerings should be presented. The seekers meet Pippalada, who tells them the rare, the precious teaching related to the fundamental mystery of the universe and the self, known as knowledge of Brahman, Brahma Vidya, cannot be imparted to the uninitiated. Students have first to be kept under observation and tested for a year. Beings are born to perpetuate creation. When the year is over, Kabandi Katyayana asks Pippalada, why are beings born? Why are beings born? Those who wish for progeny are the desirers of offspring. The wish is basically to become the progeny, to perpetuate oneself. Hiranyagarbha, who is non-separate from the Supreme Brahman, Parabrahman, is the Prajapati, God presiding over creation. Hiranyagarbha, as Prajapati, wishes for progeny. He has traces of knowledge of the lower or world-related Brahman, Apara Vidya, attached to him from past origins, which induce in him the wish. This is the reply of the Guru. Contemplate on the orderly universe and its principles. Surya, the sun, illumines all beings in the 10 regions with his rays. Surya is the very self of Prajapati. So all beings born in the regions so illumined become the very self of Prajapati. The word vital air, prana, therefore refers to Aditya, the sun itself. For the sun gives the vital essence, prana, since all beings are able to live by consumption of food, etc. The sun is also known as the cosmic universal personality. Vaishvarnara, the whole universe is of his nature. So, he is also known as cosmic form, Vishwarupa. The year is an indicator of time according to the position of the sun. The time is but a series of days and nights. And these phases are caused by the sun. The rotation of the moon causes phases in fullness. The twin forces, the sun and moon, are products of Prajapati. So time, which is marked out by the tropics, seasons, months, etc., is also of the same essence. Prajapati also has northern and southern cycles. The contemplation and worship of Prajapati in this universal aspect is referred to as spiritual wisdom, jnana itself. Those who are endowed with this spiritual wisdom and who have mastery over the senses as well as faith in the Vedas can easily convince themselves that they are the very Atma. Pursuing the northern path, Uttara Marga, they reach the spiritual stage known as the world of the sun, Surya Loka. That world is the refuge of all living beings. Only those who worshipfully engage themselves in their daily duties, without any desire for the fruits thereof, can enter that world of the sun. The seasons like spring or the feet of the sun, the symbol of time. The 12 months are his personal traits. He is the cause of the worlds. These truths are expressed in the 4th and 6th mantras. The rains are also caused by the sun. So he is the master of another world too. The third, the heavenly world, Dyoloka. Consecrate the body, the complex of vital elements, by sacrifice. Ether, Akasa, air, Vayu, fire, Agni, water, Jala, and earth, Bhumi, the elements that make up the body, have their presiding deities. The activating senses like the voice and the knowing senses like the eye also have their deities which reside in them and promote their functions. Finally, the mind and the intellect also have their deities. They are all pillars that support the being and prevent the structure of the body from falling asunder. The body is a complex produced by a combination of 5 elements. The organs of perception, Jnanendriyas, are the consequences of this combination. So, the body is a bundle of consequences and causes. Like the spokes of a wheel, they are fixed in the hub of vital airs, prana. So too, the sacred hymns, the Yajur-Vedic mantras, Sama-Vedic mantras, the sacrificial rituals, yajnas, where they are employed, the value of the warrior, Kshatriya, who protects the people from danger, the Brahminic force consecrating the sacrifices, all these are of the nature of the vital air. When Prajapati becomes the cloud and pours rain, all beings rejoice and are enabled to live. All things that contribute to happiness are bound to you. Cherish us. Therefore, as the mother, you cause all wealth and welfare related to spiritual and physical protection. Give us that wealth and wisdom. The Rik, Yajur and Sama mantras are the Brahminic wealth. Riches are the warrior, Kshatriya wealth. Thus, the Upanishad elaborates on the vital air, prana, as Prajapati and its functions and attributes. The sun governs the vital air and vital functions. Therefore, thereafter, Pipalada takes up Bhargava's question. Later, Kausalya from the Ashwalayana school asks him about the vital air, prana. Pipalada replies, my dear boy, like the shadow caused by a person, the vital air is produced by the Atma. The vital air dedicates itself to the Atma through the resolve of the mind, Manas. Like a ruler who arranges for the governance of his possessions, the chief vital heir appoints different heirs, pranas, assigning functions and areas of work for each. The chief vital heir as the sun, Aditya, and other gods as its impelling force, like sparks leaping out of the flames of a raging fire. Beings emanate from the imperishable Supreme Atma, Paramatma, and lose themselves in the same fire. This is mentioned in the Mundaka. The self abides in all beings, habits in all beings. Then Pipalada answer Gargi, the rays of the setting sun merge in the sun itself. They emanate and spread again when the sun rises the next day. In the same manner, during a dream, the sensory world gets merged in the consciousness reflecting mind. And when one wakes from sleep, the sensory impressions emanate as of old and move out in their native form. That is why the divine self, Purusha, which abides in all beings, does not hear or see or touch or enjoy. It does not walk or talk. The Atma, which is pure effulgence during the dream stage, sees, hears and experiences the subconscious impulses, vasanas, whatever it sees, hears and experiences during the waking stage. When the statement is made that the Atma is the basic of everything, the impression is created that everything is different from it. But the distinction that is apparent between the base of all and the individual souls, jivas, that rest upon, it is merely an illusion caused by circumstances. It is mental, not fundamental. Pipalada also said that whatever world, loka, is connoted by the deity worshipped through the Om Pranava, that world will be attained. God resides in the heart. Next, Sukesa, Bharadwaja's son, questioned the master. Pipalada's answer ran thus: the divine self, Purusha, you inquire about, is in this body itself, as the resident of the inner sky. The heart, it is on account of his being there that you shine forth in full splendor of attainment and personality. Souls emanate from him and merge in him like milestones, progressively increasing and interdependent. The earth, Durga, the mother goddess, food, the supreme soul, Purusha, all four principles originate from the other according to the second section of the Taittiriya Upanishad. The origin might not be evident to the eye, but since the origin of the same sense organs, Jnanendriyas, and the organs of action, Karmendriyas, has been described already, the origin of the Supreme Soul is as good as said. All rivers join the sea and lose their names and forms therein. The rivers are therefore called the sea. So too, only the Supreme Soul or Self remains. He is without any attainment and traits or changes. He is imperishable, endless. That is all I know about Brahman, and that is all there is to know, said Pipalada to Kabandi and other disciples. The never-changing absolute reality and the ever-changing phenomenon. This Upanishad ends with respectable homage paid by the disciple to the master. The father gives only the body. Pipalada gave them the body of Brahman by teaching them the Atmic principle, Atma Tattva. The 6 disciples who asked 6 questions in all were Sukesha, the son of Bharadwaja, Satyakama or Saibya, son of Sibi, Saurayana, grandson of Surya, the born in the family of Garga, hence called Gargeya, Kausalya, the son of Ashvala, Bhargava or Vaidharbi, who was born in Vidarbha in the line of Brigu, Kabandi, Katyayana, a descendant of Katyayana. The first section of Mundaka Upanishad elaborates on both the highest or transcendental para and the lower of or creation, the world-related apara aspects, along with the casual or creative aspects of Brahman, although its second section begins by extolling the creation-related aspect, it ends with the firm declaration of the evanescent nature of the creation-related aspect. In the answer to the sixth question, the Om Pranava as the core of all methods of gaining the transcendental and the non-transcendental aspects is fully elaborated upon. The questions and answers in the Prashna Upanishad bring out implications of the Mundaka and serve as a nice commentary on the succinct text. The 6 questions are: what exactly is the relationship between the transcendental or non-dual para and the differentiating or dualistic apara principles? Who protects and guards created beings? How does Hiranyagarbha emerge from the Supreme Atma, Paramatma? How does creation take place from the Supreme Atma? How does the consciousness full, Chaitanya full principle, the vital air, prana, enter the body and get diverted into 5 channels? Which senses operate in the 3 stages of waking, dreaming and sleeping? These lines of inquiry are followed in this Prashna Upanishad. Jai Sai Ram.